You guys ready to have some fun? Okay. I thought I'd ask you a couple questions before we really begin. And who's been to one of my live events before, out of curiosity? So you guys already know what I'm going to do here, right? Your 7 whys, okay? If you've never been, this is when you should open your ears, take out your note sheets, and start writing this down. It's the law of 7 whys. Not wives, whys. Right? 7 whys. That pen is no longer. Do we have any more, just out of curiosity? There's nothing in that one. 7 whys. Okay? So let's practice this real quick. Who would like to tell me why they're here today? Why are you guys here? Wow. We don't know? Yes, sir.
Trying to find ways to keep your chronological clock from going too fast.
That's a good idea. So we're here to anti-age, yes? Hopefully. You guys know it's the anti-aging conference, right? Yeah, I will if they find one. Anti-age. I'll read it for you. Anti-age, right? So who's here to learn how to get younger, feel more energy, et cetera, et cetera? Hey, what are you guys here for then if there's not all of that? What's another one? Seriously, if you're like, no, forget anti-aging. I have high blood pressure. I want that to go away. Forget that. I have 25 pounds I want to lose. Who's got something? Yes. Oh, there we go, right? Who wants to feel better?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are still lying to yourselves. The whole room should have said, please. Okay? Feel better, yes. Okay. What was yours?
Lose weight.
Lose weight. Anybody else? Lose weight. Do we not have the wax ones? No? Okay. We'll use this. Okay? Who else lose weight, out of curiosity? How much weight? 10? 30? Good job. 30 pounds. Anybody else? Higher? 40? Going once? I'm just kidding. Okay, just one more, and then we'll do our 7 whys. Yes, ma'am.
Stop taking medication.
How about that? That was generic enough to say, I want to get off all my meds. Anybody?
Yes.
Okay, the other half of you. So I think with these 4 things, so we'll say no meds. Okay? Now, here's the only trick with this, right? Watch, okay? If you're skinny, you're not taking medications, and you feel phenomenal, and you're young, are you healthy? Oh, so what if can I just add one for you guys? Healthy. But we have to redefine this because, unfortunately, the world's definition of health is not the definition of health. Are you okay if I say that? Let me give an example. How would I know today if I'm healthy? Help me out with this. What's your first name?
Joanne,
Joanne. How do I know if I'm healthy?
you're not taking medication.
Okay, but can I not take meds and still be unhealthy?
Absolutely.
So is that a good definition?
No.
So let's try another one. How do I know if I'm healthy?
Feel good?
But can I feel good and be unhealthy?
Okay, say none of those. Huh?
Can I? Don't say any of those, okay? How do I know if I'm healthy? Tested. What if all my tests say everything's good? Am I healthy? So EKG, stress test, MRI, CT, whatever. Perfect. Am I healthy?
There are other tests to be taken.
What test?
Feel good.
Name a test that I should have. Hold on real quick. My test. Good answer. Name a test that you could have that will tell you how healthy you are.
Heavy metals.
So if I'm heavy metal free, am I healthy?
Not necessarily.
I'm better. How do I know if I'm healthy, though?
When you get a full scan of everything.
Okay, so I have a full scan of everything and it's perfect. Am I healthy? I like to ask you, because you keep talking to me about if you can have every test under the sun, spend $100 million, and they all come back clean, you're healthy. Is that true?
I would assume so.
You would assume so. You guys, I'm sure this is in your guys' heads too, right? Can I help you with this? Those are medical tests. They don't look for health. They look for disease. To be disease-free doesn't mean you're healthy. So there is no test for health medically. 0. You guys should write this down. There is no medical test for health. It doesn't exist because they don't want you to have it. What I mean by that is they don't want you to be healthy. Not that they don't want you to have the test that looks for your health. Well, technically, they don't want you to do that either, because if you found the cause of your ill health, then what would you be able to do? And will medications make us healthy? I'm asking you because if my test comes back clean, but I take a med, how is that even possible? How can I be taking medications but have clean tests? That doesn't make sense, does it? So can the test ever tell us our health? No. If you don't believe in that, that's fine. Maybe you will by the end of today. But some of you have been plugged into the medical matrix. Peter and I were talking about this. For the medical matrix so long that, you guys remember the movie The Matrix? That needle goes so deep into your brain that you're unwilling to let go. And I hope today you just let go. Remember the Disney, I have kids, remember the Disney song? Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back. Remember that thing? You gotta let go of your current health definition because it's wrong. Otherwise, you would be, oh, that's deep, isn't it? That's a deep one too. If you had the right definition of health, you'd be healthy. Okay? I have brought myself back from practically the dead. Is that a phrase? I brought myself back from death. I brought my wife back from death. I have 2 children that you'll see in a moment that shouldn't even be on this planet because we couldn't have kids. We now do. I've seen stage 4 cancer patients reversed down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. And when they get their clean test, you know what the doctor says? This isn't possible. You still have cancer. We just can't find it. No joke. No joke. You know what they say? Once you're diagnosed, you can't be undiagnosed. Don't they say that? This condition is going to be with you the rest of your life. Who are they to say that? Do you believe in them or do you believe in the power that makes your body heal? I'm a Christian. I believe God's the one who does all the healing. And here's something unique about that, right? There was a time years and years and years and years and years and years and years ago when somebody actually could be right in front of you and go like this. Boom! And she'd be perfect. If I could do that, do you realize how many people would be busting down this hotel? We would have to rent Time Warner Cable and Bank of America Stadium and the PNC building and broadcast this across the world. Police, fire, EMS, helicopters, and everything. Plus, people would be trying to kill me. You guys understand that? Okay? I can't do that. So that's why I'm safe. Who can? Well, God can, and where is God? Oh, He's in you. So do you guys get this? You can heal yourself. But you can't do it if what? You don't know what health is. Oh, that's deep too, isn't it? So, let's do our 7 why example on anti-aging real quick, okay? Here's what you need to do. If you came here today because you want to anti-age, you should ask yourself, why do you want to anti-age? So somebody just yell one out. Why would we want to be younger?
Wrinkles.
Okay, to have less... That's good, right? So we want our wrinkles gone. Ready? Will you be my example for all 7 now? Are you okay? Who was that? Okay, will you be the example for all 7? Will you answer all 7 of my questions? Okay, ready? Why do you want no wrinkles? Just okay, just go with it.
Because I stand before people and direct the Christian choir.
Okay.
And I don't want everybody to...
So I'm hearing...
instead of my hat.
I'm hearing you want to look like an angel in your Christian choir. Look angelic. Okay? Why do you want to look angelic in the Christian choir?
Because it's contagious.
What is contagious? So hold on. So spread happiness. Okay? Here we go. Why do you want to be the spreader of happiness?
God's called.
Oh, okay. Do you guys see how this works? C-A-L-L-I-N-G. Now, 4 in. Why is God calling you to spread happiness?
It's one of His requirements. It brings joy to people.
Okay, so God's calling you to enlighten others, right? Why is it good to enlighten others? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2 more to go. Why is it good for you to enlighten others?
Because it brings them happiness.
Okay, so that's here. They're being enlightened. Why you and not him? Why you?
Because of the talents that I have, I guess.
Yes, okay.
Using my talents.
So she can become talented beyond her wildest dreams, and then here's the ultimate, right? Having these talents to enlighten others, fulfilling your callings, happiness, looking angelic, and having no wrinkles. What will that, ready for this? Why will that be important to you?
Because then I will be fulfilling my purpose.
Boom. You guys hear it? I guarantee you, if you do this for yourself, you will all end up at the same end, number 7. Okay, you guys know why it's 7 whys? Somebody tell me, why is it 7 whys and not 6? Perfect number biblically. You are perfect when you will answer yourself 7 whys. Guys, this is huge. I learned this from Anthony Robbins. Who knows him by chance? He's like this, though. He's sailor's mouth, isn't he? Yeah, you... And I was like, whoo, that's intense. I'm not going to do that today. 7 is a biblical number for completion. You will find your purpose in life if you ask yourself why 7 times. What I find out is most of us aren't living our purpose because we don't feel good and we're taking medications and we want to lose weight and we don't feel like we can do something. I don't know that I could stand in front of the choir and sing like that. I probably could if I trained myself for it, but that's not my why. That's hers. That's why you do it and I don't. Does that make sense? My why is to do a bunch of things, okay? I was born in 1978, and that is me. I don't know how old I was here. I may be like a year. But, this is my mom, and that's me in 1978. It's definitely the 70s. Would you guys agree? I don't remember a screen print like that existing today. Okay, 20 years practically to the date I was born, I met this angel, and yes, that is me. I met this angel in 1997, technically, but 20 years more or less. You guys get it? 78, 98, I'm rounding. 20 years after this, I met her, and she changed my life in multiple ways. Okay, I met her in high school. So we're high school sweethearts. We've been through everything together. Okay, I got married in the year 2002 in June on 29th. I know that. She's watching. And they say it's the happiest day and sometimes the saddest day of your life, right? So I look happy, and she says, she's like, tell them why I look sad, because everybody thinks she looks sad a little bit, right? We paid $2,000 to have all these flowers flow all the way down this thing and then roll down the thing, and the church was like, well, your wedding's over, get the heck out of here. They took all the flowers down while we were doing our photos, and she was watching them take the flowers down, but the photographer's like, give us a good smile, and she's like, yeah. Anyway, things happen for a reason, right? She had a beautiful bouquet. I then graduated college, wanted to become a medical doctor because I'd been sick my whole life. Have you ever had this? Like, ear infections times 12, tubes in your ears till scars over, you start losing your hearing, sinus infections, asthma, allergies, chronic breathing problems. I got diagnosed with sarcoidosis when I was like 11, but they didn't call it that. They said, we don't know what this is. You have scarring in your lungs, and we don't know why it's there. You need to breathe with this machine. I used to have cannulas in my nose. I couldn't walk upstairs. I couldn't play sports. I couldn't do anything. I had a pump and a machine at night, like a CPAP machine, because if I didn't have oxygen coming into me, I wasn't going to make it through the night. Nobody could figure out why. So what did I want to be when I grew up? Why? Because my passion, I was like, well, they can't do it, I'll do it. All these people on this planet, all these doctors don't know anything, I know how to do this. So and here's what I did. I graduated, top of my class, pre-med. I applied to the top 3 schools in the United States. I got accepted to one of them, but they said, you're kind of young for this. I was like 22, 23 years old. No, 24. And I said to them, but I can do this. And they're like, yeah, so go get a PhD first, because this is top, Johns Hopkins, right, et cetera. And they said, go get a PhD. And I was like, I'm on it. So I go and I apply to the National Cancer Institutes of Health. I worked in the Walter Reed Medical Center doing cancer research for stage 4 clinical studies for people with colorectal cancer. My drug was called 5-FU, which is kind of weird, isn't it? 5-fluorouracil. 5-fluorouracil. The problem is the drug does FU, okay? It messed people up like crazy. My job was to figure out how do they not die so fast? How do we slow down the death rates of people who are on this drug? Because supposedly at the time the drug worked, but you would only live maybe another 4 weeks. One of the most expensive drugs on the planet. At the time, dating me, but at the time that drug was so expensive it wasn't even available to the market. They were experimenting on the what I'll call retired, I'm trying to think of the word, veterans from the military, because it's a military hospital, yes? They got free care as long as you came to the President's Hospital, by the way. I met Bush here, and I met Obama here, because they come every year to get their physicals done. Like literally, I'm like, hey, how are you? They're in the hospital. Okay, I worked there, and my job was to figure out how to give people a chance when they're on chemo. And then I had this epiphany moment. I'm like, I'm interviewing the top doctors. I work with the head of the National Cancer Institute herself. It was a female doctor, Jean Grisham. And I said, would you do this again if you were me? I'm young. I got into Johns Hopkins. I'd like to do this MD, PhD program. Would you do it again? She's like, no. And I'm like, why? She's like, hey, man, it takes so long to do anything to become credited. And she's like, the only reason you've been published is because you're piggybacking off of my name, which I'm fine with because you're good. Like, I was really good at what I did. I'm a nerd with science. You guys know what a GC mass spec is? It's a machine that you put blood into, and then it measures metabolites to tell you how much of stuff there is. I analytically looked at people's blood and said, why are you dying? And then I'm published all through PubMed. You go and you type my last name in, it'll say Dr. Aaron Ernst and 5-fluorouracil. It was my past life before I got unplugged from the Matrix. You guys understand this? Who unplugged me from the Matrix? She did, because she got super duper sick, like way sick, almost died. And I couldn't figure it out. We went all over the place. We tried to figure out how to get help. And the crazy thing is, as crazy as this is, she has scoliosis, was going to a chiropractor. And that was the only thing that was helping, but it wasn't fixing her. It's helping, but it wasn't fixing. Does that make sense? So then now I go, well, that's cool. The chiropractic stuff's helping you. I then interviewed all the top docs. I talked to the top 10 doctors. I was like, what do you guys think about chiropractic? What do you think they said to me? I want to quit my MD, PhD program and go be a chiropractor. What'd they say? No, they're like, go for it. We love our chiropractor. You know what they said? Medicine can't fix people. We know that the human frame suffers gravitational distortion over time. It's known in science. You can't function without a chiropractor. We all have chiropractors. We would have been a chiropractor if we had been unplugged from the Matrix earlier. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wow, can you guys imagine how crazy this is? I told my mom and dad, I quit everything and I'm going to a chiropractic school. So I did that. That was in 2006. I did that. And I graduated, and we moved to Charlotte because we felt called here. Meaning called like her parents live in Virginia, mine live in Savannah. It's exactly 50% of the way. Again, I'm a numbers guy. So I said, we're going to live there so that we're just far enough from them, but yet close enough to them. Okay? We wanted to have kids like crazy. We've been married now, I think, almost 10 years, right? We wanted to have kids like crazy. Nothing's working. Nothing's happening. She gets super duper sick. I become a chiropractor simply so I can take care of her. I thought, well, they're not helping you. I'll be the best chiropractor on the planet. I'll help you. She got a lot better, but then she didn't get fully healed. So then I studied something called functional medicine. Anybody heard of this? It's like relatively new. I've been doing this for 10 years now, so back then it wasn't new. It was like nobody knew about it. Okay, so I became a functional medicine doctor. I think the reason God put me into the Cancer Institute is because now the majority of the people I take with have cancer. Isn't that funny? So I'm helping them to heal by not giving them drugs, but by taking them off of their drugs. That's mind-blowing, isn't it? So we start this clinic, and we didn't have kids, so I said, well, look, I want to take care of kids. I want to take care of their animals. I want to take care of everything. I want to take care of kids. She used to come in. She's now much older. I think she's in high school now or something like that. It's crazy how fast they grow up. And she's like, hey, every time you adjust me, please adjust my most important friend. So we would do that kind of stuff, right? Then, finally, boom, we get pregnant. After fixing my wife's health with functional medicine, which I'm going to teach you guys today, our first angel came along. This is Ava. She was, I think, 5 or 6 days old when we took this photo. Yes, I do play the guitar. It's one of my passions. And boom. Okay? So then we start traveling and going to conferences and seminars, start learning. Guys, I've been trained by some of the best of the best of the best. I know people who are net figured worth 30, 40, 50, 100 million. I hang with them. I talk to them. Some of them are doctors. Some of them are business owners. Because I'm like, I got to suck all of the world's information into my brain because God gave me something supernatural. Ready for this? I don't forget anything. You can ask my staff. You can ask my patients. Some people will come in and I'll be like, hey, do you remember 3 weeks ago you told me you were going to do this for me? Did you do it? And they hate it. They hate it. But as a patient, they're like, you remember that I said my cat died 2 weeks ago and you're asking me how I feel today? How do you remember that when you have hundreds of people coming in here? I don't know. It just happens. I don't forget stuff. My wife says I forget things all the time, but I forget stuff. So we call her our angel because we have what? Yeah, and she has blue eyes. Mine are black. My wife's are brown. So literally, I think, this is just me, that God was like, okay, man, you did it. You did it. You unplugged yourself from the world. You became committed. You found your why. You did it. We're going to gift you now. Remember Abraham in the Bible? He was like trying for years, and all of a sudden she's like 90. He's like, no way. And it happened, right? Thank God I wasn't 90. But maybe she was 90 on the inside, and we fixed that. That was a little teaser for you guys. Now, My second, Gavin, he's about to turn 2. He is literally the apple of my eye. Now watch this. Ready? I know, right? His eyes are blue, and his hair is blondine. So we wanted to do something special and go back to the same hotel and recreate our family photo. I don't know if you guys know, when there's 2 of them, that's like really hard, right? Like super duper hard to do. Super hard to do. So we're still working on that. But if I can share this with you, the reason I want to share this with you is this isn't just like me coming and saying, I need new patients in my practice, okay? I would love to work with you guys, but those of you who already know, some of you are like, can you just stop helping more people? Because it's busy in there, is it not? Those of you who are patients, right? So on the average, we'll see 150, sometimes 120 people in a day, and I do it every day, except for Saturday and Sunday, because Saturday is my radio show day, my seminar day, and Sunday is what? That's my Sabbath day with my wife and my family, okay? So I got this awesome deal 5 years ago. It is the #1 station in Charlotte. In fact, they're quasi-syndicated. We have listeners who will call in and be like, hey, I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. I heard about you. And they come up here. So watch out if you're like, I live in Matthews. It's really far. I have a patient right now that drives from the beach of North Carolina. 4 hours one way, will stay here for the day, be seen multiple times, then he goes back to the beach. So come on. You'll do whatever you can if there's someone that can help you. Would you agree? We flew to Spain to help with my wife, okay? I'll do whatever it takes. I'll spend whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. Okay, so I got this awesome opportunity to get on here, and this has been why I do what I do, because I want to try to teach people how to do that for themselves. How do you come back from the dead, like from where you guys are right now, right? Not how do you come out of the ground and then regenerate yourself. You all are technically dying right now. Some of you are dying faster than others. So how do you come back from that? I know how to do that, okay? And I'm going to show you today. Is that fair? Yeah. So my why, when I've done all of this, was because there's a great calling placed upon me to use my gift, this encyclopedia brain, to help others find their why through getting their health back, period. Does that make sense? Are you guys okay if we do that today? Yeah. All right. So let's have some fun. In the beginning, before there was anything, there was only one thing, nothingness. But God was the nothingness. And then you guys know this story, hopefully, that he said, let there be light, and all of a sudden, kaboom. We all start coming. There it is. We all start coming around, right? Now I'm going to take you through a history of humanity for a moment, if you're okay with this. Those of you who can read into patterns will see why I'm doing this. So when the first human being was formed, and then the second, so Adam and Eve, there's an exact description of what they're supposed to eat. Do you guys know this? Yeah. So the Bible says this, I give you every sort of seed-bearing plant on earth, every kind of fruit-bearing tree. So seed-bearing plants, fruit-bearing trees, you should eat. Now watch this. The animals are allowed to eat anything that grows out of the ground for their food, grass, wheat, etc. Don't eat things that come out of the ground, Adam and Eve. No wheat for you. No rice, no corn, no soy, no oats. Your perfect diet is fruits and seeds. And there were billions of trees, and he said, just don't eat that tree over there. And guess what happens when you tell a human not to do something? We do it. So because we did that, he says this, right? And again, this is the Bible I'm quoting, so it's not necessarily because you listen to your wife. You guys understand that. Because you both ate from the tree that I commanded you not to, the ground is now cursed. Remember, who was eating from the ground? So we became an animal. We were godlike, angelic creatures who he said, now you're mortal. You're an animal. You have to eat like them. So now we eat stuff that comes from the ground. And it's going to suck so bad at life, it's going to hurt like you're having a child every single day when you work the ground. It's toil, right? Human suffering. Okay, but it's not supposed to be this way, so I'm going to show you how you can turn that around. Now notice he doesn't say, eat meat. So did you guys know this? For centuries, human beings were vegetarian only. Okay? Now watch this. Okay? Then all of a sudden, mankind started getting a little crazy, yes? We started killing people, we started doing all kinds of stuff, and God's like, I got to push redo on the matrix. So he floods the whole earth, correct? And then he says, I'm going to let Noah and his family, and then 2 of every animal, both male and female, so we can repopulate the earth. You guys know this story, right? So then the flood receded, and he says, now you may eat what? Meat. But don't eat meat with lifeblood in it. So go back to the idea that you can still do everything I've taught you, but because the world is now devoid, there's no trees, there's nothing, only the animals on here, you can eat meats, but you must make sure that they have been drained of their life force. Don't eat them alive. They must be dead, and you have to drain their blood, and you have to do all this kind of stuff, kosher style. You guys understand that? Now here's the interesting thing. Ready? How long did, we'll come back to that. How long did people live before the flood? So here's Noah. See Noah right here? So watch Noah, 950 years old. Who would like that? Now some of you are shaking your head no. I would love to have that healthy. The problem is we see a 100-year-old and they're decrepit and we're like, I don't want that. That's the matrix. That's what we've been programmed to. That's what we've been taught by running lab tests and finding out how healthy you are, right? You guys are supposed to be vibrantly alive until you're 100 plus years old, okay? So watch this, Adam 930. You guys see this? 99999 practically, 9. Wow, he died really young. 9, 700, 900, right? Really young, right? So then all of a sudden, what starts happening? Now remember, we started eating meat. Where? Noah, and afterwards, pink. Weird, isn't it? Now, I'm not saying become a vegan, become a vegetarian. That would be the What the Health movie, right? They were like, don't ever eat meat, ever. You're going to die if you eat meat. You guys watch that movie? Yeah. What the Health? Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. God said you can have meat as long as it has been drained of its lifeblood. Okay? So I thought this is interesting, right? So then, if you guys know about this, the clean, unclean diets, anybody? Clean, unclean diets? Okay? The unique thing about clean, unclean diets, we just lost this. I need you to reconnect it. Clean, unclean diets is this, okay? My live stream just shot off. I'm going to go like this. The clean, unclean diets say this. There are specific foods that God says this is what you're designed to eat. Okay? You're designed to eat, if it comes from the land, it must have a hoof. If it doesn't have a hoof, don't eat it. Make sense? What doesn't have hoofs? Camels, rabbits, etc. Don't eat those things. If it has a hoof, does it chew cud? Give me an animal that chews cud. Check the power supply, Tom, perhaps. What does it do? Cows. So cows eat cud, so you can eat them. Does a pig chew its own cud? This is going to hurt for some of you. So you should never, ever, 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 ever eat pig. Ever. According to the Bible. Never. Why? Because they're toxic. And we know they're toxic. Science has proven they're toxic, yet you guys say they're tasty. The difference between toxic and tasty. Okay? If it comes from the sea, watch real quick. It has to have a fin. Does a lobster have a fin? So no. Does a shrimp have a fin? No. Uh-oh. So all the delicacies are off limits. Okay? What can we eat? Fins and scales. Eat. What if it's a bird? Okay? It's real clear. If it is a vulture, a kite, a raven, an owl, a hawk, an owl, an owl, an owl, an owl, an owl, an owl. Don't eat bats, and don't eat owls, and don't eat hawks. Very clear. If it's anything else, eat it. Pigeons? Pigeons? Yeah. Quail? Go for it. Duck? Have it. You guys see how it works? Now watch. If it's an insect, real quick, who's had insects in the last 4 weeks? It's food. If it's an insect, does it have wings and walk on legs? Yes. Does it have jointed legs so it can hop like a grasshopper? Yes. Then eat it. Locusts, crickets, grasshoppers, go for it. Spiders, they don't have that, so don't eat them. Now you might be like, there's no way I'm ever going to eat a locust. If you had no food and all you had were locusts, I guarantee you guys would tear them up. Do you guys see how this works? Like, I hate to prove it to you, but the diet that you should be following is in the Bible. It's right there, right in front of you. Yes, right in front of you. Okay, now watch. We went back and said people lived a long, long, healthy life when they followed biblical diets. Even here was following biblical diets, but you guys remember that's Leviticus many, 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 many years later. that they said we got to define clean and unclean. You know the number one objection I get when I tell someone to follow the clean and unclean list is what? Number one objection.
Bacon.
Bacon. I can't have bacon. You're right. No joke. Number one. I'll do all of it except for the bacon, Dr. Ernst. You know what the second thing is? What's the second reason? No? Go old school on me. Hey guys, are we working on the live stream? Are we figuring it out? Plug it in the back if we have to. Okay. Watch. Ready? What's the number one reason? He was hiding doing his job. I didn't even see you, Tom. I'm so sorry. You're doing your job. Ready? The number one is bacon. Number two is, that's Old Testament, Dr. Ernst. That doesn't apply anymore. That's old school. I don't know about you, but the Bible's the Bible. Genesis is Old Testament, isn't it? Am I not supposed to get knowledge about creation of the universe? Am I supposed to just say, oh, that's the Old Testament? There's no mention of it in the New Testament? No, it's the Bible, right? You guys have to do what you want with it. One thing I'm going to challenge you to do is eating clean food. Now, what does that mean? Biblically clean food. I want you to eat the clean food. Nothing else. Now, where are the plants? Well, they were already given to us. If it's a plant, eat it. Okay, but be careful for poisonous ones. Don't go out and say, well, he said to eat poison ivy, so I'm going to do this. Use common sense, right? Plants, fruits, nuts, and seeds, and your clean proteins. Would you agree? It's that simple, guys. The only reason I'm talking about this so much is that's what they did for centuries, and they lived to be thousands of years old, practically. Okay, some of us are struggling to reach 60. Why? We're not doing what our owner's manual says to do. I'm going to leave it at that for food, okay? Now we're going to go real deep. Ready? How long are we supposed to live, though? Says it flat out to the T right here in Genesis 6. My spirit is not going to struggle inside a human forever. Remember how we became animals? Now, Adam and Eve would have lived forever. If they didn't eat the apple, their kids would have lived forever. It will be the earth that comes back when we return. You guys understand that? Forever. But then we lost our foreverness when we violated the only rule that we weren't supposed to. So then he's like, well, I'll give you 120 years. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Who knows someone that's 120 years old? How come no hands are going up? We're supposed to live to be 120. Why don't you know a 120-year-old? Nobody's doing the stuff they're supposed to do. So if you just start slightly, you'll reach as close to it as you can. Can I show you a couple people who are? This lady, right now, as of today, is the oldest living person on the planet. Right now. Today. Like today. Boom. She is 117 years old and 16 days. She did a really good job following what? The original plan for her life. Not just her diet. You guys realize you have vegans who still get cancer. How can that be? She's following the original health plan for her life that I'm going to share with you today. Does that make sense? Okay. What's unique about Japan, right, is they have what? The largest population of centurions across the entire planet. Largest population. How big is it? Well, they rank everyone. 117, 115, 115, 114, 14, 14, 13, 13, 13, 12, 12, 12. Now here's the interesting. Female, male. One guy. We made it. Guys, we should shout for joy. At least we make the top 10. Right? At least we make the top 10. Okay? Now, if you look at this, again, how many of you know someone who's 12 years old? That should be you. This should be you. But in a healthy way, right? She looks pretty good for 117, wouldn't you agree? Yes. Okay, so how about Giuseppina Progetto, right? She's Italian. She is now, in Italy's world, I think the oldest. 1902, I believe she's now 114, 115, something like that, right? So we have someone outside of Japan, right? How about in America? This happened when? Like just a couple days ago, right? Did you guys hear about this on the news? You did? Good for you. Everybody else hears about the school shootings and all the Trump wars and all that stuff going on, right? They don't hear about this. Leslie Brown, 114 years old. She's the only American right now to be in the top 10 in the world. Okay? We're not doing too bad in America. We have 111 up to 113. She just turned 114. They haven't updated this yet. But still, come on, guys. Now, guess what happens, though? You're going to be 114 years old. I know it, okay? She's shaking her head yes. You will be 114 years old. There was a little hesitancy, because you know why? Your eyebrows went in first. She's like, I don't want that. Now, here's the thing, though, right? I talked to you guys about this earlier, yes? The reason most people don't want to be 114 is because we close our eyes and we see what? We don't want that. We don't see this. We don't see that, right? We see 114 years of misery hooked up to tubes and somebody's keeping us alive, and we see death. That's medicine programming your brain. God says, who told you this? You ready for this? Who told you you're sick? You're not sick. You're just violating physical law. I don't know about you, but if I jump off a building and I ask myself to not fall, I'm going to meet God really fast. And he's going to go like this. Dude, I gave you a brain. I taught you physics. I showed you this. I proved it to you that things fall from the sky. Why'd you do this? You guys understand that? We get to decide how long we live. Ooh, that's another deep one, isn't it? So here's how it works. Inside of your body, you have 70 trillion of these things. Who knows what this is? Somebody tell me what is that? It's a cell. So the phrase that I use a lot is if you want to get healthy, if you want to feel your energy come back, if you want to get off medications, fix the cell and you will get well. So you can remember it. Fix the cell and you can get well. The problem is medicine often messes up the cell, so you get sicker. That make sense? So if you were to look at this as like 70 trillion of you, we got to make sure this thing is working. Would you guys agree with this? This is now the world of functional medicine. Are you guys ready for an uber deep dive? You guys ready for this? No one has told you this. I guarantee it. I haven't even done this before. How deep I'm going to take you, I've never done before. I'm a little nervous that you guys are going to go like this. I don't understand a word he's saying. It's like Greek coming out of his mouth. Maybe God will translate for you so your brain will understand it. Do you guys understand that? Okay. How many of these do you have? 70 trillion. Who knows what this thing is? Okay, I like that. Who's like a what? No. Seriously, mitochondria. Who's never heard of that in their life? I just need to see a show of hands. Okay, we're doing pretty good. That's where your energy comes from. So remember how Tammy's like, I have so much energy now. We fixed her mitochondria. Has your medical doctor tested your mitochondria for functionality? Probably not, right? They don't do it, okay? I'm only going to keep pointing to you because you are my, I like to have tests run, okay? Thank you for this, okay? What's that right there? What's that? What's inside the nucleus? DNA. Does your DNA determine your age? If you have bad DNA, are you going to get sick? No. If your DNA is broken, it does not equal disease. That's what medicine wants you to believe. They want you to think, well, you genetically have a problem, that's why you're sick. 100% lie. Unless you were what? Born with the deficiency. So are you born with cancer? Some people are. That's a genetic cancer. Are you born with heart disease? Are you born with a clogged artery? Are you born with arthritis in your knee? Are you born with dementia? Those are not genetic. Down syndrome is genetic. Factor V ligand deficiency is genetic. You guys understand this? From birth. Therefore, if you think right now, Doc, it's not going to happen, I have this genetic disorder, I'll ask you this. When were you diagnosed with your genetic disorder? Well, they gave me the diagnosis when I was 50. I was like, so at 40 you didn't have the bad genes? Well, I don't know. The doctor just said it runs in my family. I'll show you what runs in your family. Bad lifestyle choices. Where do we learn how to eat? Where do they learn how to eat? Where do we get our definition of health from? Well, ultimately, who gives it to you first? Your parents do. Hey, young child, you're weak. We need to give you a flu shot. Come with me, please. Oh, that's the wrong programming. That's the world saying you're weak, you can't live without the flu shot. Hey, baby just born, we need to wipe silver nitrate on your eyes. We need to vaccinate you because you're weak. You guys know that your immune system is as strong as it will ever be in your entire life the moment you're born, and it gets weaker every moment thereafterwards? That's weird, isn't it? We were told it's the other way around. Well, then how come all the old people are sick? if you're born with no immunity and it gets better as you get older, why are all the sick people old? That's weird. Because see, they're lying to you, and you believe it for some reason, okay? Now, the cell is designed to do what? Make you well, because if you fix it, you'll get that. Does that make sense? So if you do this, watch, okay? Wouldn't you agree that when I started off, I was a half of a cell and another half, and then I came together before I even knew this was happening, and then I had one cell, me, one, right? I used to be this, and you were too, just one of them. You guys remember that? Nobody remembers it. You know about it, right? Half from dad, half from mom. There's me in the beginning. You guys remember this? Now, what does it do? It copies itself. Now, what happens if you copy a copy, and you copy the copy, and you copy the copy of the copy, and you copy the copy, the copy, the copy, the copy, the copy, the copy? It's 70 trillion. What happens? They get a little fuzzy, don't they? Now, ready for some deep, deep science? They have now learned that every time your cell replicates itself, a little tiny flick comes off the end of your chromosome. And they say that it shortens what's known as your telomere. Write this word down, telomere, T-E-L-O-M-E-R-E. It is a phrase for the ends of your DNA. So what happens if I lose pieces of my DNA? They just all of a sudden disappear, or they fade over time because the copies are being made. I can't express my good genes. Are you guys following me? Is this okay? So every time I make a copy, they shorten. So the way that we need to do this is this. The length of your telomere, let's say I pull out one of your DNAs, and here's the X, right? And we go, okay, there's your telomere. The length of that will tell you how old you are on the inside. So now I could suck some of her blood out into a vial, run it off to a lab, and I could say, you are exactly this old. And if it's older than she is, then I go, you are super unhealthy. We need to fix this. I'm going to let that sink in just for a second. Do you guys get that? Yeah. Now, here's how crazy this is. Medicine actually knows about this, and they call it your Hayflick limit. Who has heard of the Hayflick limit? Good for you. Good for you. The Hayflick limit is this: the maximum number of times a cell can be replicated before the DNA is so damaged that the cell dies. It's called the Hayflick limit. We call it Genesis 6:3. You have a maximum lifespan of 120 years old. Your cells can replicate a certain number of times throughout that time frame. So I don't know about you. We don't know the exact number yet. We'll probably figure it out. But let's just pretend that the number is 70 trillion. You can copy yourself 70 trillion times, and then you're going to die at 120. Make sense? So what happens if my copy rate is too fast? So instead of living to 120, I will live to however fast my copy rate is. Does that make sense? So when people go like this, gosh, that was so unfortunate. That 14-year-old just totally had a heart attack at night. That 14-year-old was 120 years old on the inside because their Hayflick limit was flying like crazy. Does that make sense to you guys? I had this neighbor who was totally healthy. All his medical tests were perfect. He had a heart attack while he slept and he didn't wake up. He was only 55 years old. That's insane. He hit 120 years old right there. Do you guys understand this? Super duper deep, isn't it? Now watch. They actually said, well, I wonder if we scientifically can test this. So in 2015, some scientists came along and they went, oh my God, we found this new protein that actually increases your telomere distance. And where was it? Inside the cell already. So they isolated this protein and they went, oh my gosh, it lengthens a telomere. Translation? What? Well, it fixes your age. It will de-age you. So do you think science got excited about this? Who saw the announcement that the fountain of youth was found in an enzyme called telomerase? Telomerase. ASE stands for enzyme in science. Telomerase. This is what it looks like. It's a fancy little guy, isn't it? So I'll blow it up for you in case you want to get to know it, because you have it inside of you. It sits there. How many of you would like to turn that thing on right now? So does medicine. Watch. They are coming up with drugs to try to turn it on. So they're saying, hey, we could make somebody live a heck of a long time if we turn on the enzyme. Scientists just found it. let's make it better. Let's turn it on. Because for some reason, yours are off. And I'll show you why they're off, okay? So they said, I wonder if we could physically stop the clock and make people go backwards in aging. Could we lengthen this by turning the enzyme on? So they said, we know it works. We studied this. So we're going to see what happens when we turn it off even farther to find out what does it do when it's not working. This is how sick medicine is, right? We know the enzyme's there. Let's turn it off and see what happens. Well, they said, yikes, you start to get cancer when it's turned off, and you start to get really old. Well, then they're proving their theory then, right? They're going, okay, the enzyme will keep you alive, and it'll prevent you from getting cancer. Shoot. You see what's going to happen? We can make them younger, and they won't get cancer. We can't let that out. We can't tell people that we can make them not get cancer. We'll bury this. Bury it. Who heard about this? No joke. Bury it. When was this done? Not that long ago. So then they said, I wonder what happens. Let's study it a little more. Is it directly connected to the aging process? If we shut it off, do the mice die faster? They found out if you shut it off completely, they will die in about 3 to 4 times the rate that they would if it was on even slightly. You turn it all the way on, they stay alive for their entire lifespan. I guess a mouse lives like 5 or 6 years. So they stayed alive the whole time. No cancer. So then they said, what else does it do? Well, when the enzyme's not working, we also notice that people's sugars tend to go high. Their glucose doesn't work, and they secrete insulin like crazy. Sounds like type 2 diabetes, doesn't it? So shoot, if we turn the enzyme on, we'll have a cure for diabetes. We can't let this out. You guys understand this? So it would block cancer. It would get rid of your diabetes if we activate the enzyme with the drug. Can't do that. Okay, what else does it do? Oh, it makes people have hypertension. High blood pressure. When you have pulmonary hypertension, it's the second number. 120 over the second number is your hypertension for your lungs. So if you have like 120 over 90, 120 over 100, it causes that. It causes your pressures to go up. Shoot! If we lower telomerase, or if we turn on telomerase, we would also fix hypertension. We can't do that too. We can't make people healthy. Bury it. You guys get this? So then they started saying, I wonder if we can somehow play around with this. If you can live longer but be healthier, this is going to get sick, guys. How could we turn the enzyme on so you live longer but turn on more disease so you get sicker, so you live longer with more illness? Because now we can make more money. Ready for this? Welcome to the world of mTOR. Who has not heard of mTOR? Raise your hand if you have never heard of mTOR. Do you guys see this? Okay, now open your ears, please, okay? mTOR is a biochemical pathway that happens once certain hormones land on the cell. And when sugar goes up in your blood, diabetics, when you take metformin drugs, when you have amino acids like protein drinks, you'll turn on mTOR. And they found out that right here is this thing called the raptor protein. Write this down, the raptor protein. If you guys want to know what the raptor protein is, I ask you to look up for a second, watch this slide. Boom! Velociraptor. It will demolish and destroy everything in your body if that protein is turned on. It is like the velociraptor for your health. Now, I don't know about you, but when I watched Jurassic Park the first time, that movie freaked the heck out of me. You guys remember this? They're like this. They're walking in this grass field. It's up to here. You're like, dude, you're going to die. I know you're going to die. And they're just like, where are the dinosaurs? I don't know where they are. And then all of a sudden they hear this, and they're like, did you hear that? And they get eaten, right? When you turn on the raptor, there it is, you get sick. It makes your cells grow faster. It shuts off the ability to eat dead tissues. It makes you secrete high cholesterol. It shuts down your mRNA. It makes all these biochemical pathways turn on. You get sick when the raptor's on. So guess what they've discovered? This is going to just blow your mind. They said, look, if we can turn off mTOR, we can get the same process to happen. So I turn on telomerase, you'll get healthy, you'll get well, right? If I turn off mTOR, you'll also get healthy and you get well. So what if I turn both of them on at the same time? You'll get younger and sicker. And they came up with a drug called, hold on. Oh, this is me saying, okay. If you inhibit mTOR, you can extend your life and you can prevent the following pathologies. Guys, this is a published study in Nature. You can prevent all of these things. You see it? Death, heart disease, dementia, etc. You cannot get sick when mTOR is turned off. So if we turn mTOR on and we turn telomerase on, you'll get younger and you'll get sicker at the same time. So they said, we got to find a drug, right? If you ever ask a doctor, though, hey, what do you know about this mTOR pathway? What do you know about telomerase? What do they do? Well, have you read this article? Did you see this in Nature 2013? Here's what they say, right? Well, the last article I read was dropped off in my office with 1,000 samples of free drugs, a catered lunch for me and my staff, and they gave me theater tickets. That's the last article I read. It's sick, isn't it? So here they go and they say mTOR can change all of this. And so this company, Pfizer, came up with this drug because they said it turns mTOR on. We can make someone sick. This drug costs $1,800 for one single dose. But it says, don't worry, there's a generic version of it if you'd like it. And it sits right here at $136 at a 70% off retail rate of $492 per pill. Massive, massive dollar amounts, right? So what they are planning on doing is going, we'll put the telomerase enzyme activator in this guy, and we'll make people anti-age and get sick. Now I'm going to show you how to turn off mTOR, ready for this, and turn on the telomerase and do it naturally. Are we okay with that? Yes. Was this enough suspense building? Yes. Now how many of you are literally right here, you're like, wow. Wow. Okay? How many of you might be like, how do I get out of this room? Like, this is too crazy. I don't know if I can handle this. Are you guys drinking from the fire hose properly? Okay? So all has to do, again, with this. And it has to do with the rate at which it's copying. Now, here's what's so neat, guys. We can test the rate at which your cells are copying. It's so neat. Those of you who are patients, you've already had some of these testing runs, right? So I talk about this idea. It's a philosophy. God gave this to me years ago. It is the 3 interferences of physical law when it comes to your health, okay? Can we interfere with gravity? Can we interfere with gravity? Yes, okay? If I want this pen to not drop that fast and splash on the bottom, what would I do? I'd tie a mini parachute to it and it will go real slow. Would you agree? We can slow down physical law, correct? So this means there are 3 main things that slow down the physical laws that say you should be healing by yourself. We use this stool analogy because I think you guys understand that if you sit on a 3-legged stool, it's pretty solid, right? If I had a stool here, I could step up onto it and I'd be okay with 3 legs. Take 1 leg away and what happens? Okay, so you can't function with just 2 of these. You have to have all 3, okay? Your intestines have been found to be 80% of your immunity. Do you guys know that? The function of your gut right here is 80% of your immunity. Will your immune system anti-age you? Yes. Will it help you to fight disease? So if you're taking a medication, it tells me your immune system isn't working because if it was, you would be healthy and you wouldn't be taking the medication. Is it clear enough? That's the only reason you're taking a medication is because you're covering up the symptoms of what the medical tests have found that say why you are so sick. Well, you're sick because your sugars are high. Okay, doc, why are my sugars high? Because you can't control your diet. Well, I think I could if I want to, and I did that and they're still high. Your genetics are bad. You guys see what they do? So instead we say, no, your immune system's weak, you're chemically stressed out, you have toxicity in your body, and somewhere a nerve isn't working, okay? Can you guys look at me real quick if you're writing notes? Would you agree that every organ in your body has a connection to your brain to it? Yes or yes? So if I have a low thyroid, my thyroid's not working, could it be because somewhere in how the brain gets through the neck to my thyroid that one of the nerves is pinched? Could be. Now what will you say when I say, hey, you have a pinched nerve in your neck shutting your thyroid down? What do you guys all go? No, I don't. Because I don't feel the pinched nerve. Did you know that you don't feel pinched nerves unless they're 60% compressed? So if I have a 40% compression to my thyroid nerve, am I healthy? No, but I will feel fabulous. Make sense? Okay? Can you have chemical toxins wreck your health? If I drank a gallon of bleach right now, what would happen? Hello, Jesus. And he's going to say this, why did you do that? Didn't I show you that that stuff is toxic? Why did you do that? Well, I don't know. But I drank the gallon of bleach because the government puts chlorine in the water, and I drink that every day, and it took me 45 years to drink a gallon of bleach. Whoops. My gut leaks. Now, here's the unique thing, okay? If I'm going to start at the one everybody wants to start at, which is how do I clean my chemicals out? How do I clean out my diet? How do I do all that kind of stuff, right? It's real super simple. What you're about to eat, if it's liquid, would you pour it in this fish bowl and expect the fish to stay alive? If the answer is no, then don't drink it. Okay, give me an example. Coke. If I pour a can of Coke in here, what happens to yonder fish? Okay, no more. Remember, you have 70 trillion cells that have your DNA inside of them that have telomeres on the tips. You don't want to shorten your telomeres, do you? I don't know about you, but the Bible doesn't say the promised land is flowing with Pop-Tarts and Cocoa Puffs and chocolate milk. Doesn't say that. It says milk and honey, but I guarantee you it's not cow's milk, it's goat milk, because milk in the Bible was goat, and honey has massive properties for health. Okay? Should you drink milk from goats? Yes. Should you drink cow milk? If it's raw, squirted right out of a cow, yes. But the problem is that's illegal in the state of North Carolina. Why? Because they don't want you to be healthy. That's deep too, isn't it? The state says, oh, you'll heal if you drink raw milk. Illegal. Okay? If it's a solid food item, it must follow what? Clean and unclean lists. Okay? If it's liquid, your test is, if I pour it in a fish bowl, will the fish die? If yes, don't drink it. Okay? How do we test for your aging process? Remember I said that sugar turns on the mTOR pathway? Do you want the velociraptor running through your body, tearing holes and everything? No. So you must get your sugars down. Now here's what everybody says to me. I already have diabetes. I'm trying as hard as I can. They're not going down. You definitely need to work with me. Hey, doc, I'm good. My sugars are 82. I'm good. Well, there's lots of more markers, guys. Would you agree to that? Just because you have normal sugars doesn't mean you have normal C-reactive protein, for example. Your heart's inflammatory score, your body's inflammatory score, your thyroid responses, your vitamin D, your actual pH. We can test things and find out if you're healthy because they're not going to be the medical numbers. Does that make sense? Let me give you an example. What is the medical number for good cholesterol total? You're supposed to have what? Okay, that is a bunch of crap, in my opinion. 200 is way too low. You will die if it's at 200. Medically, it should be between 250 and 285, but it has to be in ratio to your HDLs at exactly 2.2 or less. If they don't talk to you about this stuff and they say you have too high of cholesterol, but your ratio is fine, you're going to make yourself sick by taking the drug. Does that make sense to you guys? It's called the Great Cholesterol Myth. It was written by 2 medical doctors. They published a book and they said, we're all lying to you because we want you to buy our drugs. Okay? We can look at the most toxic substances on the planet. Okay? If you look at the lethal doses of certain things, did you know that if you ate 3 quarts worth of sugar right now, you would die instantly? Did you know that? If you literally ate 3 quarts worth of sugar right now, you'll meet your maker. Why? It is actually a toxin for the human body. Sugar is toxic. So why do we need to lower our sugars? To decrease our toxicity. What else is toxic? Well, we know that's toxic. If you drank 3 quarts of 100% alcohol right now, 200 proof, 3 quarts, you will meet your maker. Isn't it interesting that it's 3 quarts for both sugar and 3 for alcohol? Because that is what? It is sugar. All it takes is a quart of direct salt and you'll die instantly. So is salt a toxin? Table salt is what that is. Table salt is a toxin, sodium chloride. If you drank a half a cup of Roundup, what will happen? You will die. But watch, you guys are eating half cups of Roundups by going, I don't have the money to buy the organic food, doc. I'll buy the non-organic. It is sprayed with pesticides and herbicides. How long does it take for you to absorb a half a cup if you're eating lettuces and wheat and corn and stuff like that? About 40 years, which is why most people get sick when? In their 40s, okay? Arsenic is obviously not very much. You're going to die quickly. Now, this is weird, isn't it? We know that nicotine at a half teaspoon injection directly will kill you, yet a lot of you still go because it's an addictive toxin. Why is it so good to stop smoking? Because you're toxifying your body. And we know that if you get a food poison directly injected into you, sometimes that can kill you too. Would you guys agree? So be careful about going, well, I'm trying to lower my sugars. Okay, that's the number one most important thing you should do for your diet. Lower your sugars. How do we do that? You stop eating crap. Carbonated beverages, refined sugars directly, artificial processed foods, and processed beverages and processed things. Stop eating crap. Don't eat anything carbonated, refined, artificial, or processed. You do that, you'll be safe. Does that make sense? Your sugars should go down over time. But the problem is some people are like, well, I'm so diabetic that now they're making me inject insulin. I don't know if anybody's here doing that, but I'm working with a lot of people who are going, okay, my sugars are still over 200 even though I'm on metformin, glucophage, Actose, and Avandia. It's not working because the drug is not going to fix the problem. Does that make sense to you guys? So when you start to inject insulin, watch this. Insulin is a hormone that says stop burning protein for energy, stop making ketones, stop making fat for energy, stop burning it, stop converting sugars. So it shuts off sugars and it pushes the sugar into the cell. And when you push sugar into a cell, you do this. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did this last night because I'm like, I got to share this with them. I see the typo. All of my patients know I'm typo king, aren't I? You push sugar into a cell and it makes a cell acidic. As the cell becomes acidic, it makes this nasty kind of sugar called glycogen, which turns into fat. When that happens, enzymes become deactivated. Oh, I'm turning off my telomerase. See it? Then you start to increase proteins, which does what? Turns on mTOR. Then you store lots and lots of fat. I can't lose weight. I've been a vegan and I'm running on the gym. I'm doing everything right. I'm gaining weight, doc. What's wrong? Your insulin's messed up. No, it's not. My sugars are fine. Have you had your insulin tested? No. Why doesn't your doctor test insulin? Can you tell me? Why won't they do it? MD, please check my insulin levels. You don't need to do that. Let's just look at your sugar and your A1C. Well, I want my insulin tested. Your insurance isn't going to pay for that. I want to do it anyway. I don't even know. Well, okay, fine. Now the test comes back and the insulin is high. Watch this. Doc, doesn't insulin push sugar into my cell? Yes. Why do I have high blood sugar if I have high insulin then? I don't know. I don't want you to know that I don't know, so I'm not going to run the test. It's deep, isn't it? Doesn't insulin make sugar go down? So why do people have high insulin and high sugar at the same time? Because their cell is not working. Does that make sense to you guys? Then it increases potassium and phosphorus uptake. If you have too much potassium in your blood, what happens? And then what happens? If you upregulate cell division, you're making your photocopies faster. What are you doing? Aging. You turn on mTOR, and it messes up your neurotransmitters so you get depressed. All of that from sugar. Sugar. It is the white poison that is being pushed into everything, and you guys are just licking it up like crazy. I used to do this, guys. I was raised on Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Puffs, Snickers bars, and Diet Coke. That was breakfast. I was raised on this stuff. I used to eat gobs and gobs and gobs of gobs, if you guys know what those are. Okay? Can you check to see how fast your cells are duplicating themselves? Remember I said I was going to share you guys these awesome tests that I've now found? I could literally have you urinate, have this test marker run. We look for this thing called melanoaldehyde. If you have high melanoaldehyde, your cells are replicating at a fast rate. We can then use an algorithm to say, oh goodness, you are really getting old on the inside, or you're really, really clean on the inside. You go to LabCorp, you test this through your urine. It's an $800 test just for one marker. It is not covered by insurance because what do they say? This test is experimental, so we will not cover it. It hasn't been proven it actually does what you say it does. It is actually 50 times more accurate than anything to also find out how toxic you are, because the more toxic you are, the faster your cells are doing what? Yes, right? So I have in my office, through my supplement company, a home version of this, and I will give it to you guys for free. But you got to do something for me, which I'll tell you in a moment. Here's a couple patients of mine recently that did this test. You know what's funny? They're like, I already knew it was going to turn red, doc. Why'd you run this on me? Because I need a baseline. Because if in 5 weeks we run it again and it's down here, what are you going to do? Only 2 of you will get excited, apparently. And that's because she's a patient of mine. Seriously, though, if you saw a test that said you're toxic, you're dying, you do a couple things that I teach you and it starts to go down, I don't know about you, you should like go buy fireworks, light a party, invite all us over. I'll throw one for you if you want. Come on, celebrate. Now we can go real deep if you want and start running more tests. Okay, deep breath, everybody. If you want to write it down, you can. It's called the Organics Comprehensive Profile. It's by a lab called Genova Diagnostics. Your medical doctor won't run this one, I guarantee you. Because I've even asked a couple of them to do it, and they're like, this test is like $43,000 if we order it. Because there are literally 48 different markers we look for. Remember, one marker, how much? 800. If I look for 43, you take 800 times 43, and you're like, wow. Okay? So they have this test that I run on a lot of my patients. Here's what's neat about it. It'll show us, are you burning fat for energy? If you're way up here, in the red zones, that means you are not burning fat for energy. Does that make sense? So when somebody says, why can't I lose weight? I go, well, you're not burning fat. You're not burning sugar either. So what are you burning? Protein, which means you're activating mTOR. Oh. Now watch this. Can you make energy? Are you depleted? Are you tired all the time, Dr. Ernst? And I can't figure it out. I drank this Monster Energy drink. My heart was beating like crazy, and then I almost died. Is this person making energy? No. This one's doing well, but all the rest are bad. Watch this. Are you methylating? I'm not going to go too deep because I'm going to lose you guys. Methylation is directly connected to the rate at which your telomere enzyme is working. If you're a good methylator, your telomerase is working good. If you're a bad methylator, your telomerase is working poorly. That's why methylation, when she said I had this weird disease that nobody knew about, methylation is the most important thing to work on. And it's so simple that if I run the test, I can see how high you are, and I can tell you how much of a methyl supporter to take. But I can't do it unless you do what? But the test costs $23,000, $43,000. So what do? I have to help you buy the test. Okay, total transparency. Can I be okay with this? God has blessed my clinic to the nth degree. Who has seen my Ferrari by chance? A couple of you have, okay? Nth degree. I pay for a lot of your stuff. Most of the patients in my office get more than half of their care paid for by myself. I literally take my credit card out and I go, I'll buy your test for you. But I'm going to ask you to do something, which I'll tell you in a moment. Does that make sense? Okay? So right here is the most important one ever. Can you guys see this? P-hydroxyphenyl acetate. If you want to write it down, because if you Google it, you're going to go, oh my God, I really want to know how high mine is. It is your cellular turnover rate. It is your Hayflick limit. It is your aging marker. Does that make sense? P-hydroxyphenyl acetate. This person who was in the seminar last month came to my office and said, Dr. Ernst, I want to do this. I'm going to get your testing done. Please help me. Look at this. 1.2. It's supposed to be 0.39. Guys, it's a simple equation. How many more times the normal rate is that? 0.3. That's 4 times the normal rate. Is that good or is that bad? Super bad. Now watch this one down here. 8-hydroxy-2-deoxyguanosine. Boy, that's a mouthful, isn't it? That tells me if the telomeres are damaged at the end of your DNA. So they're rapidly turning over, but their telomeres are still okay. So we caught this how? We caught this fast. Now, if this is high and that is high, I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, 90 to 95% chance that they already have cancer, or when I freak them out accidentally, they go, I need to get some tests done, and guess what comes back positive? They find a tumor that they didn't know about. It's that specific. If this is high and that is high, both mTOR is on, the telomerase enzyme is off, and you're rapidly replicating your cells. Bad, bad, bad. Again, when you go to your doctor and you say, can you run these tests, we don't recommend that because it's too expensive. The retail cost, 20 to 40,000, depending upon how many I do, your insurance will say what? What will they say? I have Blue Cross. How much is it going to cost, Doc? It's full price. It's experimental. It's non-covered. It's full price. You guys understand this? Why are they making it so expensive? They don't want you to run the test. It's sick. They don't want you to run the test. I know the owner of Genova Labs. He gives it to me for $1,600. My cost. Swipe. For me to run it. For you. $1,600. I'll do it for you if you want. Okay? Why would you want to test? There's no drugs to fix this. Okay? If your cell enzymes come back low, I can't say take more aspirin and you'll be better. I can't do that. It doesn't work. So how do we fix it then? We have to do what? We have to fix your gut. We have to decrease your number one toxin, which is sugar, and we have to do what? Reconnect the nerve. How do we know which nerve needs to be reconnected? Guys, this is super easy. Am I losing all of you? I'm having this feeling like you guys are like, this is crazy. Okay? How do I know which nerve is damaged? All I have to do is do this. Ready? What drug are you taking? Real quick, who's taking a medication for something that would be willing to say what the medication is and why they take it? Yes. Go ahead. And what do you take it for? So what organ is messed up? What organ's messed up? The brain. So there are nerves to your brain. So we'll talk. Somebody else. Yes. Hold on. Both of you thyroid? Go for it. In the back. So what nerves are damaged? The location of where the shingles are. Wherever the shingles came out, trace them back. These are the nerves that are damaged. That's why the shingles came here and not on your face. What was yours? Thyroid. What nerves are they? C4, C5 that go to the thyroid. Go for it. What do you take it for? Where? So where do the nerves to your fingers and your feet come from? So where do the nerves to your feet come from? They come from your low back. Where do the nerves to your fingertips come from? From your neck. You have nerve alignment issues in your neck and your back. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't have the tingling there. Somebody else? Yes? What do you take it for?
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Where? Which joint?
Usually hands.
Okay, so that's the neck. Go with an organ, guys. Give me an organ.
Kidney stones.
Kidney stones.
Both sides.
L1, L2 in your low back. Give me another one. Stomach, right? Acid reflux, indigestion, gastritis, T6, T7 in the back. Do you guys understand? Mm-hmm. There are neurological pathways that go to organs. What if you have nerve damage, high sugars, and a leaky gut, but you feel good? You're still unhealthy. So what I try to teach you, I get people all the time. They come to my dinners, they come to events like, Dr. Ernst, what do you actually do? Like, what do you do? You guys understand? Okay, I'm going to try to say it as plainly as I can. I teach you how to become your own doctor by helping you pay for the tests you can't afford because God has blessed my clinic, because that is my why, so that you can find out if your gut's not working, that your sugars are off, because trust me, even if you're not diabetic, I bet you they're off, and that we can find your nerve damage. I'm a chiropractor, a functional medicine practitioner. I believe that God gave me the ability to know everything, so I could just say, do you want to do this? Why did Tammy get such great results in 5 weeks? Not me. She did it. I just showed her what to do. It's called health coaching. You guys heard of this? So if I don't know how to do something, don't I hire a coach? I don't know how to make a ton of money off the stock market, so I will hire someone who does. He's my stock coach. I don't know how to dance, so I'm going to hire a dance instructor. She's my coach, so I'm learning how to dance. By the way, tonight at 6 o'clock, I'm in a dance competition with Modern American Roomba with my wife. I've been doing this for 6 months training, so because I love learning, right? So I hire coaches. The thing is, you guys hire doctors, and they manage disease, MD. You need to fix disease, FD. Make sense? Functional doctor. Fix it. Okay? So if my nerve is interfered with, real fast, right? Think of it as like the fuse box in your house, right? So if it was thyroid, if it's stomach, if it's heart, if it's lung, if it's liver, if it's pancreas, if it's toes, if it's brain, if it's ears, if it's eyes, all of them have a specific spot that they exit your spine. Would you agree? I'm not talking about chiropractic yet. I'm just talking about basic laws of life, right? So help me with this. Where is the misalignment in this law of energetic life for this person's house? Their house is their body. You guys understand the analogy? Okay, where's the misalignment? Somebody help me find it. 15. Be the doctor. 15, well, be careful. That's just the amperages, right? So 8. Would you guys agree? 7 and 8 are off. Good call though, right? You guys realize that's just the amperages of this. Like, look, I told you I know everything. I don't know how. It's all in here. Okay? These are the amperages of how much goes through before the circuit will fire. If there's more than 30 amps, it'll click. So there's more than 15 amps. See it? Psst, psst, psst. It burned the side. This is in my old house. It burned the side of my thing. I went out and I'm like, why doesn't my dishwasher work? Now, what if it was my thyroid? Why doesn't my thyroid work? Genetics. No, energy. You guys get it? So how do we see this when we're not looking at, say, a fuse box? I look at your fuse box. Watch this. That's the L5S1 nerve root that for a male goes to your prostate, for a female goes to your uterus. That's the L4 nerve root that goes down the sides of your legs, 3 to the kidney, 2 to the kidney, 1 to your bowels, 12, you guys understand this? Adrenal glands, energy, brain. It's that easy, okay? So from the front, if your spine is straight, I can say, well, for that test, you passed. Because if it's bent, what does it mean? There's a pressure, not necessarily scoliosis, right? Is that scoliosis? Yes, but what will the medical doctor say to that? Oh, you don't have scoliosis. It has to have 15 degrees or more to be scoliosis. That's only 9 degrees. You're pretty good. 9? Everybody has spinal misalignments. Are you in pain? Does your back hurt? No. There's nothing wrong with your spine. Yet, is there something wrong with this spine? Yes. Do you guys see the hearts right here? It looks a little weird, doesn't it? Is your heart supposed to be on the right side of your body? No. Where should it be? All on the left. Why is this heart turned centrally? Because the spine is bent. What would happen if I physically turn your heart inside of your chest? Will it beat irregularly? Yes. Will the pressure be off? Yes, because it's not where it's supposed to be. Does that make sense? What is this thing right here? No, the kidneys are way here. That is stool and fecal material smashed into the upper part of the GI system because the L2 nerve root is being damaged. Why isn't it over here? Because the spine bends to the left. Do you guys see? It's like plain as day to me. I can literally look at your x-rays and be like, I know exactly why you have what you have. I know which nerves are pinched, and I know how to fix it. But I can't fix it. Do you guys understand this? You're going to have to do something to do this, okay? Physical therapy, chiropractic, rehabilitation. You got to do something. Okay, I'm a chiropractor. I would love to do it. I'll help you. Well, I live in Clemson, South Carolina. Come up. It's too far. I'll find one for you. Do you guys understand? You have to do something about it, okay? So if the switch is thrown, then we can see them and we can say, this is why, right? This is why. Why? Why? This is a patient that came in after I did a heart disease summit last year. She's like, you don't understand. I'm on 3 meds. My heart's not working properly. It beats all the time. They've shocked it into place. They've burned the SA node twice because it's firing by itself. I've done everything I can. I'm taking all these drugs. Can you tell me why my heart's messed up? And I said, no, I cannot. You tell me why it's messed up. You know what she said? My spine's out of alignment. And I went, okay, you want to fix it? I've never had anybody say no. What do they say, though? How much does it cost? Okay, can I be transparent with you? If it was free, would you do it? Okay. If it was $500, would you do it? $500 to fix this, would you do it? $5,000, would you do it? $50,000, would you do it? If you say there's a number, watch, if you say there's a number that if you hit it is too much, then what you're telling me is you have a value on your body. You have a specific price that you think you're worth. I have invested over $250,000 into my health. Only because God has blessed me to be able to do that, though. So I can help you to pay the cost of what it's going to take to do this by going, well, I'm going to transfer my blessings to you. Does that make sense? How much are x-rays of your spine? Just outright. Walk into a medical doctor, say, I want a full view series of my spine, digital x-ray. Anybody? Throw it out. Not a little more than that. Full. 2 in the neck, 2 in the low back. How much? That's for the neck views. $250 for the neck, $250 for the low back. $500 for just an x-ray. And then when they look at it, they go like this. That looks pretty good. You know why? They look to see if it's broken, they look to see if it's dislocated, and they look for tumors, and that's it. Fractures, etc. They're not looking for alignments. They never do because they're not trained in this. I'll look at that and go, that was the best $500 you ever spent. I know why your heart's messed up. I know why your stomach's blocked. Do you want to fix it? Don't say, how much does it cost, though? I will help you with that. Does that make sense? Okay? So again, it goes everywhere. Teeth, scalp, ears, eyes, nose, throat, sinus. That's just the neck. Parathyroid. Every single square inch of your body is connected. How do we know what's going on? We can look at history. I'm pretty good. I'm 90% accurate. But the best thing to do is to test it. Okay, take an x-ray. Let me look at it, and I'll see what's going on. Does that make sense? Okay? Then, if we look at it from the side, remember front's supposed to be straight? Here's what nobody talks about. The side of your spine, from your neck and your low back, is supposed to actually be curved. Okay, so here's the skull where the brain comes down and flows through your body into your neck. See the teeth, eyes, nose, sinus, you guys see it all? So you know, we're not looking at foot. This is a head. I get it, right? I look at it and I'm like, wow, look at that. And you guys are like, I don't see anything you see. Okay? I see life in this. I see abundance. I see anti-aging. You know why? The skull is open. The head is centered over the shoulders, and there's a 45-degree curve to the neck. This, if you could burn a picture into your brain, is the normal side view. So normal front view is straight. Normal side view is, no, this. Okay, what do we all have? Okay, it's called the crooked neck or the straight neck of death, right? So if I run a scan on your spine, right? We have technology that can look for nerve pressure. Isn't that cool? Tell me what's wrong with you. You could come in and go, I'm going to be real super secretive with him. Nothing wrong. Yet I got all these issues, and I want to see if he's that good. Will he find them all? Okay, watch, because do it to me. And I go like this. Sinus, thyroid, lymphatics to your chest, heart, lungs. I'm like, you got a lot of problems through there. And you know what they'll say? How did you know that? If it's black, the nerve is dying. The nerve is dying. It's losing oxygen, losing nutrition. Would you want to know if you're losing oxygen to a nerve to your heart? I would. When would you want to know? Yesterday, when you were born. Why did I take care of that infant who is only less than a day old? I got to make sure it's clean. My kids have been adjusted now. My son, he's almost 2, almost 104 adjustments in his lifetime. Some of you don't even have that under your belt yet, and you're much older than he is. My daughter, once a week for 6 years, I can't do the math in my head, over 400 adjustments. I get adjusted every week, either with my associate, Dr. Forrest, who's over in the corner, or my wife, who's also now a chiropractor. Okay, so look, we can find it, and like Tammy said, the most thorough exam ever, because guess what? I'm always going, okay, that's what's causing that, that's what's causing that, that's what's causing that. I can see it all. This is the gift God gave me. I see it all, and I know how to fix it all. But I don't do any of it. You do all of it. Does that make sense? That right there, though, makes some of you go, that's a lot of work. Can't I just take a pill? It's our training, isn't it? It's our training. So this is Angela. Angela, who opened in the beginning, right? So everybody wave to Angela. Angela worked in the medical field for years. She worked in the chiropractic field for years before I met her and I unplugged her from the matrix, okay? In a chiropractic office, getting adjusted regularly. And what is her neck doing? Straight as a board. This is arthritis forming. See how we can see it already? A little flicky nature to it. The discs are real thin. Can you see how the disc is like massively open? Do you see that? See this one? See this one? What do you not see in her neck? No disc, completely straight. She was struggling to lose weight. She was struggling with her health. And I said, I know what's going on. And you know what she said to me? I don't understand. I've been getting adjusted for years by the doctor that I worked for. Okay, and then I asked her, well, what were the adjustments like? Well, you know, who's been to a chiropractor before? Let's be honest, right? Well, I would come in and it would be like this. Right? And then you would lay down and they would go, and she was like, whoo! I said, how often did you get x-rayed? She's like, I think I had one and I didn't have any others. Because what would they do every time? How do you feel today? I feel better. Okay, let me keep adjusting you. How do you feel today? I feel better than the previous day. Ooh, it's working. Chiropractic works. It does. Guys, you feel phenomenal. But what happens when you stop hurting and you feel great? Stop hurting, which is what she did. This is like 2 months of me working on her. Look at the curve go from 0 to 21. Now it's supposed to be 45. No pain at all in her body, but she's still only at 52% her total spinal capacity. No pain at all. Loving life, losing weight. How many pounds did you lose in those 2 months? 35 pounds gone in 2 months, just like that. No gyms, nothing. I actually told her to stop running because she was running like 6 miles a week. Or a day? What was
I was running 6 to 8 miles 4 times a week.
4 times a week. 6 to 8 miles 4 times a week. I said, you stop running. Stop. It's making you worse. Why? You're banging the spine when you run. Okay? Then we went all the way to when I got her finally to perfection in 2015, right? It took me about a year, perfection, and she's been maintaining that ever since. This is health, only a 2% loss of neurological supply. What does that tell me? She's on 98% perfection. We're working on this still. I think you're up to about like 50%. This one, we're at 100% perfection. You guys see? Get all 3 of these to perfect, and what happens? You heal yourself. Does that make sense? But you have to know what? You got to know where you are. If I asked you right now, what's the curve angle in your neck? Okay, Okay, you need to get an x-ray. What's the curve angle in your neck? You need to get one. You need to get one. You know. Peter's in my office. I'm working with him right now, right? We're working, right? You guys, you understand? I can't make you do this, but I highly suggest you do it. And guess what? My clinic is like right behind this hotel if you'd like me to do it for you. And I'll show you how I massively reduce the prices on this, okay? So could we rescan you and go, yes, improved? Guys, this was Angela, working for years at a chiropractic office. And then I get her to here, and then it goes like that. Do you understand? White is normal. Green is a little irritation, which all of us have at all times. I'm starting to feel the irritation where? Right here, because when I talk, these microphones and my jacket and everything, my tie, what does it do? It restricts the motion, so it gets tight. You guys understand that? So what do I need to do immediately after this? I'm going home, or I'm going to meet with Dr. Forrest, lift my spine apart. That's what I do, okay? Now, you can also look real close. If I have somebody open their mouth, just real quick, help me. Is that centered, or is the right side down compared to the left? It's crooked, isn't it? That's what this looks like on an x-ray. When people are like, I'm looking straight at you, and I go, oh, that's really off. No, this is straight, doc. Okay, close your eyes. Are you straight now? Yeah, I'm looking straight at you. Wow, that's really, really bad. You guys understand that? And I guarantee you, if I use my cameras in my office, which are special, and I do take pictures of you because it analyzes all the lines, I'll go, now do you see it? And you guys all go like this. Whoa! Look at how far off this is. Okay, and you'll only know what I'm talking about if you've already been to my clinic, right? Because we take photos of all of you for the measurements of your skull, your angle lines, and everything else. Look real close here. What's the problem? This is C2, controls your sinuses. This is C1, controls everything. Your heart rates, your lung rates, your breathing rates, your brain, depression, etc. What's wrong here compared to here? Yeah, right? No pain at all. Came into my office with raging headaches. Been to physical therapy, had neurology, had Botox injections in the back of their neck and like why it's causing. Why do I have so much headaches? I asked her, where do your headaches start? She goes, they start right here, which is why they injected her where? Here. Now watch. What side? Left, right. Right here, doc, is where I get my headaches. So I went, whoop, and I'm like, oh my God, I know why. The bone's pressed in. I need to push this one this way. Now, do you guys understand? When you get an adjustment, what happens? The bone moves, doesn't it? And the universe does that for you at the same time. The zzz. You guys get it? It does move. Okay, now some of you go like, I don't want that to happen to me. You'll break my neck. You'll do this. I'm not going to break your neck. Why do you think I take all these x-rays and see thousands of people? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually fix your neck so you can heal. You guys get that? But the only way to know you have this is to do what? You have to take the x-ray. You know, right? This is the #1 issue I see in our office. She does the x-ray marking for me, Angela. She's always like, it's off, it's off, it's left, it's right, it's right, it's left, it's off, it's off. I think maybe 1 out of 100 will have them centered. That means you have a 1/100th chance that it's normal. You have a 99% chance that it's out of alignment. But you would never feel this. You know what you feel? Tired, fatigued, irritable, you have constipation, your gut doesn't work, you get acid reflux because that nerve goes everywhere. Your ears ring, your eyes twitch, your brain gets foggy, you guys go like this. Why is this happening to me? And the docs go, don't know, I know. Does that make sense? Your brain talks to your body. If the signaling is blocked, it can't talk, so then you start to have health issues. Does that make sense? If it's your heart, it's a heart health issue. If it's your liver, it's a liver health issue. If it's your toenail, it's toenail fungus. You guys understand? It's how it works. Let me just show you the power behind this. So Barbara comes in not that long ago, last year, and says, I got sciatica and high blood pressure. I just want my sciatica to go away. She's like, if you can do that, you're a saint. I've been on all these meds. I think she was taking 3 different drugs for it. So she goes, I need my blood pressure. Great, but I want my 25-degree curve in her neck down to 5. That right there released all of her sciatica. She got off all of her blood pressure meds, and she lost how many pounds? 145 to 115. And I didn't even tell her to go to the gym at all. Now, you might say to me, well, sciatica is down your leg. Why are you working on the neck? Somebody help me with that. Not the blood flow, the nerve flow. Now, can you have a nerve compression here that would make your right knee? But medicine would be like, no, it's the knee. You guys understand this? Source can be throughout the whole body. Okay? The most important thing is these have to be open. Do you guys see the difference? 23, 25, 2, 16, 16. They're supposed to be 18. 23 to 16, 25 to 16. I am an analytic by nature. I will show you that you can get better. I will prove to you that you can do this. Does that make sense? Okay? Somebody says, oh, I've had diabetes for 45 years. It can't go away. It's not possible. This went away in 90 days. Full restoration in 90 days. You know what her medical doctor said? That's not even possible because A1C medically takes 4 months to come down. It's not possible. Physically, it doesn't happen. And I'm like, well, they explain the results. March, 7.1, June, 5.4. They said, we must have run the wrong blood. I kid you not. We must have run the wrong blood. We're going to run it again, complementary. They ran it again, 5.4. They're like, it must be a mistake. The lab's equipment must be broken. They would not let go of the fact that she reversed her own diabetes. And she lost a ton of weight, got off medications. Her husband became a patient because he's like, wow, you helped my wife. I also have a few things. You guys see, it's organic. The growth just happens, okay? I've seen everybody say, I had thyroid cancer. I had all these issues. My thyroid is still crazy. They told me I'll never be able to lose weight. Lost 40 pounds just like that. I had somebody here who was a husband to a wife who was literally on so many meds for schizophrenia, bipolar, and depression that she was so medicated that I kid you not, when I came in the room and said, hi, my name's Dr. Ernst, she looked at me, shook my hand, got up, and walked out. And I'm like, where are you going? And then she goes, what are you talking about? Who are you again? I'm Dr. Ernst. She shook my hand, she stood up, and she walked out. Her husband's like, I'm so sorry. The meds are making her do this. Why don't you talk to me instead? I kid you not. She is now back to life. Okay? I don't do this stuff. I don't do this, okay? The gut, though, is the seal the deal, right? If you have nerve involvement and you have toxicity involvement and you fix those two, you can heal. But here's the deal. Heal deal. God, sorry. Okay? This has got to be 80% of your immunity strength, right? The other 20% lies here. Does that make sense? So if you're toxic, your nerves are interfered with, there's your 20% block. So 80% of your immune system is here. So if you fix your toxicity and you fix your spine, you'll get better, but you won't get perfect. Does that make sense? You got to seal the deal by strengthening your immune system because then you'll stay that way for how long? Forever. As long as you do what? Maintain your new way of living. Back to the Bible diet, back to not eating crap, back to keeping your spine aligned properly, etc. Right? Toxicity down. So the reason the gut is such a big deal is this is where we get the majority of our nutrition from. Would you agree? Most of you have this condition that's known as leaky gut. Is everybody okay if I say that phrase? Yeah. Heard of this before at least? So it's becoming a little more known. Now, I literally had someone come in last week and they were like, look, are you serious? My gut's leaking? Like I have stool flowing around inside of my abdomen? Not that kind of a leak, guys. Cellular leaking. Does that make sense? She thought she had physical holes in her gut. Like I have a gaping hole in my gut. I'm like, no. If you did, you would be dead. Are you dead? No. Let me show you what I mean by holes, okay? Remember I said there are 70 trillion cells inside of your body, and the rate at which they replicate is based upon your, you paying attention? What enzyme? Telomerase activity. If telomerase is high, what's happening? That's a good thing. Why is it good? She's like, I don't care. It's good. I want it, okay? The reason it's good is it slows down the copy rates, right? We don't want to copy ourselves. Because when you copy your colon wall over and over again, it starts to fade. You guys get the idea? It starts to fade, so then what you have the little holes from the fact that it has been copied too frequently. Do you guys understand this? All of science is trying to tell you, oh, it's these enzymes, oh, it's these proteins. Nope, it's just the photocopy is getting fuzzy. Okay, so then what happens is the stool, the viruses, the bacteria, the toxins, the crap that you're eating, it can leak right through the cell and get where? In your blood. Tell me this, if stool, viruses, bacteria, toxins get in your blood, what happens? You get sick. Your immune system does what? I got to try to fix this. Hold on, I actually say I got to try to fix this. Now, if it's doing it every single day for 45 years, your immune system goes like this. Dude, like, I'm tapping out. Like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Tap out. I quit. And then you get sick. Really sick. And then nothing works. And that's where some of you are right now. I have to take this drug because nothing's working, okay? If you clean your gut out, you start to work again. We have to stop the copying and the holes, and I have to show you how to temporarily, artificially fill them. Now here's what's amazing about your body. It's trying to fill them for you too. Did you know this? What does it put in the gut to plug the holes? Fat. So I could look and see how much fat's in your gut and determine how leaky it is. Pretty cool, isn't it? So I could actually do this. I could say, okay, look, we know this happens. We know that they get holes in them. We know it causes problems. By the way, if you have an autoimmune condition, rheumatoid arthritis, 100% guarantee her gut's leaking. And if we clean it out, it will go away and your arthritis is gone. 100% guarantee, gone. Science says yes, okay? The problem is this. Most of you don't know, oh, the thing's in the way. Well, I'll read it to you, right? The lamp, you guys see it? It's blocking my projector. Trunk, I can run a test on you and say, how much fat's in your trunk? This lady came to an event of mine and said, look, you've sold me on the beginning. She was like, you know the Jerry Maguire thing? Like, all you had to do is just say, I can help you. I'm going right over there and I'm signing up. She's like, you talked for an hour and a half and I was just sitting there itching going, I'm going to go book an appointment. Stop talking. You guys understand? Well, show me the money, right? So I said to her, well, listen, I got to see if your gut's leaking. So 45 pounds of fat in her abdomen. Now watch this. My scale doesn't just say how much you weigh. It says how much fat you have. So if I take 91.4 and I cut it in half, oh, she has more than 50% of her fat in her abdomen. Write this down. More than 50% of fat in your abdomen, guaranteed leaky gut. This test is very inexpensive, but the scale costs a fortune. It's a $10,000 scale, guys. They don't have this scale in your medical office. Okay? It cost me 10 grand. I have 2 of them. Why do I have 2? Because we run it so often. Okay? I can also see if you're dehydrated. Help me with this. If your joints ache, did you know it's because you're running out of juice inside your joints? So if you're dehydrated, that's why your joints ache. That's why they go, and your doctor says, well, you have arthritis. No, you don't. You're dehydrated. Well, I don't understand, doctor. I drink a ton of water. I know your kidneys aren't working right, and you're urinating all the water out. How do you know my kidneys aren't working right? You have L1, L2 nerve damage because you have a spinal bend in your back. How do you know that? I don't have any pain in my back. That's what I do. You either believe me or you don't. Do you want my help? Yes. How much does it cost? Okay, I'll help you with that. Okay? I know you guys panic when it comes to cost, don't you? Like if I told you this was like let's just say this, okay? If I said, if you gave me $1,000, I can fix everything, all of you would run over there and do it, right? Okay? It's not that much money. Now some of you are like, whew, $1,000, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Can I tell you, truthfully, that is not a lot of money when we talk about health. Would you guys agree? How much does the MRI cost? Oh, somebody go, who's had an MRI and had to pay for it out of pocket? How much? $1,800 for an MRI. What did it tell you? Nothing. That's a waste of money in my opinion. What if you took the $1,800 and bought that test that I just showed you before? Oh, you see the difference? It's about relative value to you guys, right? Dehydrated, massive body fat. You know what she goes to me? She goes this, I want to lose weight. I so want to lose weight. I want no more wrinkles. I want to be the person you talked about. I so want that. And I said, this is not a weight loss program. I'm not going to make you lose weight. I'm going to show you how to get healthy. Because watch this, guys. Would you agree with this? Would you agree with this? Your weight is a direct reflection of if you're healthy, you are normal weight. Well, doc, I don't understand. I'm only 10 pounds overweight. Well, then you're 10 pounds unhealthy because your body should burn it for you. Why isn't it burning it, doc? I don't understand. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the rocks and sticks and nuts and seeds diet, and I'm going to the gym 5 days a week because your mTOR pathway is turned on. Remember? I said mTOR will make you not burn fat, get sick. Well, my doctor hasn't talked to me about this. They're never going to. Do you want me to help you? How much does it cost? Okay, let's talk. Okay, you guys understand? I'll go through the cost in a second, all right? That is after 4 months. What happened to her weight? Tink. Guys, she went from 210 to 169 in 4 months. Is that good? Yeah. What happened to her body fat? Tink. From 42% down to 35. She's almost to normal. And look at her water. Look at her water. You know what she said to me? Oh, I feel amazing. I'm off all my drugs. I've lost all this weight. This is incredible. And I said to her, well, now you need to maintain this. Guess what she did not ask me about? How much does it cost to maintain? I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes. It's really funny, isn't it? In the beginning, we didn't know how much it cost. But once you have your life back, you're like, I'll do this over and over and over and over and over again times 1,000,000. I'll show other people how to do it too. You guys understand? So just try to let the barrier to your entry to be something that you jump over. And I will help you with the biggest barrier. Here's a real neat one about your gut, right? back to our, again, I could keep adding, see how it's 30, 31, da 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 da. I get to 46, we're looking at $43,000 medically, just so you know. Okay, this test, all right? Detoxification pathways. I can see if your liver's actually working or not on phase 1 and phase 2. By the way, that marker tells me your total toxic load to your gut. Good idea to know if you have a toxic gut or not. Yes. Watch this. Individual bacterial profiling to see if you have too much Aspergillus, Clostridia, which is a parasite, yeast and or fungus. What do they have? Lots of yeast and fungus. Lots of acidophilus and bacteria. This is an overgrown gut. That is a microbiome that's leaking. That is me saying, I know why you have what you have. And you know what they said to me? How do I fix this? They didn't ask how much does it cost. They said, what do I have to do to fix this? Okay, we're going to clean out your diet. We're going to change what you do. We're going to detox you. I'm going to ask you to get your spine worked on. And guess what? Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Okay? So again, you go to your doctor and you say, hey, can you run this panel for me? I'm looking for a leaky gut. I've done this. You know what they say? What? A leaky what? We don't have a microbiome pill yet. We know about the microbiome. We know it exists, but we don't have a pill for it yet, so I'm not going to test you for it. Do you guys know they know about your microbiome? Did you know this? There's the Human Microbiome Project. National Institutes of Health just launched it. We had the Human Genome Project, and we realized, that didn't work. Do you know that? It didn't work. We thought we would have all these genes, and we thought we'd be able to control our genes, turn them on and off, and we realized we don't have very many genes. A fruit fly has more genes than we do. Did you know that? So then they said, well, maybe it's the proteins, the epigenetics above the genes. And then we realized, actually, it is slightly, because if you have lots of proteins, you turn on mTOR. But if we teach them to cut their proteins, then they'll heal and they'll get better. So we can't do that. So let's tell people to eat a low-fat, high-protein, high-carb diet so you all kill yourselves. So this is my office manager's mom, Shaquana, my office manager. Let's all give her a wave. Where does your mom live?
She's now in Greenville, but she was in Asheville at this time.
Asheville at the time. How far is Asheville from here?
2 to 2.5 hours.
Do you guys think that's too far to drive to come get tested? She didn't. Comes into Charlotte. I tested her back in 2016. She's going, please help. Now, by the way, she was diagnosed with something called thoracic outlet syndrome, where she physically has nerve damage in her neck. They were going to do surgery, and she's going, I don't want to do the surgery. Shaquana just starts working with me around this time frame, and she's like, Mom, you got to come check this out. I'm seeing people with cancer healed, and you got to come. So she came. Completely restored, no pain, didn't have the surgery, and by the way, she lost a ton of weight. Look, I'm not showing you weight to say it's a weight loss program. I'm showing you the possibilities. This is my hairstylist. I've been going to see her for 11 years. You know, hairstylists like to talk, right? Every time she would talk to me, I would say, hey, when are you going to get those tests run I talked to you about? And she would always go, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about your kids instead. She's a talker, right? Finally, after 10 years, she goes, I'll do it. Guess what? Kaboom! In 6 months. I still get my hair cut by her. Her name is Carol. Hi, Carol. You're probably watching today. Carol is like a saint. But you know what she told me? She goes, man, if I knew what I knew now, then, I would have done it then. But I didn't know that I didn't know. You guys get it? And I was in front of her for 11 years, every month, getting my hair cut, going, would you like to get that test done? Would you like me to help you? I'm busy, I'm this, I got my grandkids. Finally, unfortunately, when a health issue came about, which is when we all do it, right? She goes, hey, I know, you said you could help with this, right? And then we helped with it and more. Guys, look at that. I mean, come on, right? Come on, okay? 64 pounds down, and then everything else. This is the lady up at the front who I said was 210, had a leaky gut and everything else. And I asked her, I said, why do you want to lose weight? Remember the whys? Why do you want to lose weight? She goes, well, it's not for me, it's for my daughter. She's about to graduate. I need to do this for her so I can be around for her. Whew, I will help you then. I will pay for your tests. I want to lose weight so that I can get in these gym shorts so that I can go on vacation. I am not paying for that test. Give me your 7th why, I will pay for your test. Remember when I said to you, what does it require for me to do this for you? I need your 7th why, and I need to know why you want to do it for yourself and for others, okay? Leaky gut, by the way, has been connected to everything. Thyroid, brain issues, there's depression, anxiety, everything else, right? Sinus and mouth, joints, fatigue, adrenal issues, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Science is now saying your microbiome is connected to everything. Guys, look at me real quick, okay? Why is it connected to everything? Because your gut is what? 80% of your immunity. If your gut is interfered with, at a metabolic level. Not this, well, I go to the bathroom 3 times a day, doc. My gut's good. No, at a metabolic level, if your gut is not leaking, then you have 80% of your immune strength. Now watch this. Here's the kicker. Could you have a perfect gut and still be sick? Yes, because that would mean you're toxic then, or you have nerve damage. Now, could you have a perfect gut, have no toxicity, and still be sick? Yes, because that would mean then it's a nerve issue. Does that make sense to you guys? Could you have no nerve issues, no toxicity, and still be sick? Yes, you have a leaky gut. Do you guys get it? It's the triune of health that God revealed to me years ago, and it's a specific number for a reason. 3 is Him, Him, and Him. Father, Son, Spirit. 3. If any one of the 3 are missing, you don't have your health. Does that make sense to you guys? So what I do is I say, would you let me test you, please? All I want to know is your 7th why, and if I can round it up into a nutshell. You guys get it? Today's event in a nutshell is this. You have the power to heal inside of you. It's literally sitting there. Science says the telomerase enzyme is inside your cells just going, will someone please turn me on? Does that make sense? The enzyme's just going, I'm waiting, okay? 2, we know that you have a telomere. We know that you have the ability to enhance it, but some of you have no clue how high that telomere is. How long is it? What are your turnover rates, right? We know that your gut is intimately connected. We know sugar's toxic because if you drink how many? 3 quarts, you'll die instantly. You guys realize most of you drink 3 quarts of sugar in about 2 to 3 months on the average, just so you know, okay? We know that if you have nerve damage, your brain is disconnected from the organ that it's trying to heal. So the nutshell is this. If you want to crack the nut of your health, you got to look inside your body. And I'm going to have to help you to do that, okay? If you look at it from the perspective of like the poet Robert Frost, right? He said that once I hit a diversion in a road, I have 2 options, right? What are my options? I can take the one less traveled, or I can take the one that everybody's going down. Now, look up at me real quick. Is what I'm asking you to do the road less traveled? Yes, it is. I'm asking for you to do everything the opposite of everything you've ever done till today, practically. That is the road less traveled. Now, he said it made all the difference in the world for him. Tammy said it made all the difference in the world for her. Peter's going to tell you next seminar how it's made all the best for him. Yes? Can we do that? How it has done all the best for him. I'd like to know if you'd be willing to be my next one to tell the world on the radio, on our TV show, here, whatever. The only way, though, that I can do that is if you say, you know what, I'm willing to do this. Now the sticky part, right? How much does it cost, okay? If I buy it for you, okay, the ultimate package, which is the x-ray, the thermal scan, the leaky gut testing, the oxy testing, the urine one that turns red, you guys remember that one? The functional blood exam to look at your A1C, your sugars, your triglycerides, everything else. The functional urine, which is all 48 of them, and the cellular aging exam, which is the turnover rates and everything else. My cost is $16.97. I will have to physically swipe my card, and then now all of your tests are covered. Does that make sense? So I want to know, will you let me pay for your tests? You would be stupid to say no. But some of you are going to go, why would you do that? Well, it's my calling. It's my gifting. Does that make sense? And then as a favor, I want you guys to choose how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go. At the minimum, get the 3 legs tested. Do you see them? Neurological, leaky gut, meta-oxy. Okay? At the maximum, get the entire suite done. Now, when I say I swipe this, that's what they charge me. Now, I'm going to ask for a favor, okay? If I include the 2nd visit results, and I include the 3rd visit to go over how I would make a plan for you guys, right? So like, here's what we found, here's what's going on, here's everything you need to do, here's your diet, here's how you can fix this, here's how long it's going to take. You guys understand? 3 separate visits, okay? There's going to be more cost, correct? So this is just the cost for the testing. And that's my cost. Again, this should be like $16,000, okay? So here's what I'd like to do for you guys. I'm going to pay for this outright, and I would ask that all you do is you help me cover the other 2, and it would be $697 your expense to do the remainder part. I pay for the test, you cover the 2nd and 3rd visits. Is that fair? Okay? I pay for the test of the basics, you cover 2nd, 3rd visits. The cost of the therapies, everything else just for those time frames. I pay for the first test, you cover the remainder parts, and then I'm going to sweeten the deal one last time to make it so that your investment is not lost. When you start what I ask you to do, if you want me to coach with you, if you spend $697, I will then pay for that again. So for example, you want an appointment, you meet with my staff, you go, I want to do this ultimate best value. You will pay $697 for it. I will then pay the $1697 for your test, and then I will give you the $697 back as a credit to the cost of your care. Does that make sense to you guys? You literally cannot lose money. The only person who loses money is who? Me. And I'm okay with that. All I need to know, though, is do you want to get tested? And the reason I ask for you to do the $697 or the $297 or the $497 right now is I need to see who wants to do this. Does that make sense? Because unfortunately, I don't have enough appointments next week for all of you. But I do if you talk to her, because we will make it work. I'll figure it out. Does that make sense? Okay, now, real quick. There's a sheet in your folder. If you don't have a folder, it's because you've already done this. And if you have not done some portion of it, then I will do the rest for you guys, right? So like, if you didn't get the urine pee test, we'll do that, okay? So look at this, okay? If you have this folder, it's because you've never been into my clinic for examination and testing. Is that fair? That's how I know who you are, okay? Inside of that folder is this little half sheet. Can you guys see that? It is a copy of the fact that it says, here's what I'm paying. Everybody see that? And when you flip it over, it's going to ask you, which one do you want? Do you want to do the basic, which is your 3-leg test? Do you want to do the premium, which is to then do this test plus functional blood work? Or do you want to do the ultimate, which is this plus the functional blood work plus that super expensive metabolic panel so I can find your aging telomerase and everything else? Are you guys okay with this? Okay, all you have to do is check the box of which one you want, put your name and information, and now the most important, everybody look at me real quick. To help with scheduling, so you guys don't have to stay here till like 4 o'clock, put 2 times. They have my schedule over there of openings. So here's what I would do if I was you. I would go, I'm going to come in on Monday. I'll do 8:30 a.m. Now she might go, we don't have 8:30 a.m. Do you have another time you could do? So circle another one. Well, I could also do 9. If you circle the whole thing, the problem with that is then we got to do a lot of talking. Try to hone it down to what would work for you. I could do Monday at 3:30. I could do Wednesday at 3:30, or I could do Friday at 9. Put a star. Everybody with me on this? And it's like plain as day. Please circle 2 or more and put a star next to the one that you want. They will then look to see if we can give you the one you want. If they can't, they'll go to your second or third options. Is that fair? Is that fair? Okay? Write your name and everything. Now, real quick, these are the fees I'm paying, so you have to do this. Slash through the one you want, and you write those numbers, $297, $697, $497. Everybody fair with that? Sign and date so that you know what you're purchasing. You'd be amazed how many people will call us the next day and they're like, what did I buy again? I don't even remember. That's because you need my help a lot, okay? $297, $697, $497, slash through it, write that down, sign and date. You'll take it over there, and then they're going to get you guys into my schedule. Again, total transparency. You will see on your labs that it is purchased by me. It will say paid for by Dr. Ernst. Your blood work, your urine work. You will then take the cost that you guys have invested in the second and third visits, and when you say, I'm going to start this program, I'm going to do what you said, I will give it back to you as a credit. So if you need some supplements, guess what? You now have a $697 supplemental credit. You guys understand how this works? I want you to do this, but I can't make you do it. So how do I find out who's going to do it? It's who's willing to actually fill this out, go over there, and actually put that deposit down. Is that okay with you guys? Are we all right with that? Perfect. Okay, now here's the only caveat. Most of you want to come here and want to say, I have like all these questions for you, right? Like, can you help me with this? This is what I have. It happens every time, right? Would you agree with me that it would be better for me to find all the information first and then talk to you about that question? So can we do that? Are you guys okay? I'm going to leave. They're going to chat with you guys. I have to get down to the WBT station. I have an awesome show for you guys today. I'm not going to tell you about it. You got to join it. It's going to be incredible. You guys are going to love it. Trust me, you're going to love it. 3 o'clock. It's going to live stream because we're going to fix this camera, right? Actually, it looks like our live stream is back on. Hey, guys. No, you're just at a different angle. Are we all okay? Okay, real quick. What if you're on the live stream and you're like, hey, how do I do this? Okay. Click the comment section. You can ping us your information. I think they can hear me. You just say, I want to do it, okay? We'll put that down on there. The options are there for you guys. Also, I have stuff to give away still, but I want to make sure you don't miss the most important part, which is meeting with my team. Is everybody okay with this? Okay. Let's do our second drawing, and then I'm going to ask you guys some questions instead of you asking me questions. Everybody get your tickets out. What are we drawing? What are we raffling off again? A duplicate of the spa. Woo! Okay. By the way, salt is an incredibly anti-aging nutrient if it has what in the salt? Minerals. Minerals and vitamins. Does sodium chloride table salt have minerals and vitamins in them? No, it'll actually leach the minerals and vitamins from your body, causing you to be sick, which is why you can only handle so much salt before you die. Himalayan salt has the pinkness to it because of iron and everything else. When you do this Himalayan salt massage, they're going to rub hot salt stones on your skin, and you will absorb over 84 different minerals in that 60-minute massage. That's pretty cool. When you sit in the room and you breathe in the sprayed salt into the room, it's grinding it so fine that it looks like little dust particles, and you breathe in the minerals. They go directly into your blood because the oxygen exchange in your lungs will put them right in there. That's pretty cool, 1 hour of that. And then you get an infrared salt detox bed. So you're laying on the hot salt, and the red lights are shining on you. And what's unique is the red lights open your skin, bring nitric oxide. They get rid of wrinkles, and they help you to heal. Does that make sense? God made our bodies photoreceptive. Did you guys see my Lunch and Learn a while ago about the idea that we're supposed to be in the sun, and there's red light in the sun that makes our cells well, but when we put sunscreen on our skin, we block the light, and so that's why we get cancers? Not because the sun gives us cancers, but because the sunscreen is blocking the light that God made. You guys understand this kind of stuff? I told you my brain never, ever, 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 ever forgets anything. So the more I do this, the more I know about all this kind of cool stuff. So I can just data dump to you when you figure out how to meet with me. 205-144. 205-144. In the back, what's your name? Daryl. I'm gonna hand this up here. They'll grab it for you guys. Okay, so here's my questions for you instead of you asking me questions, okay? You guys can ask questions at your appointment if you want. Ready? What is the name of the enzyme that can anti-age us? Telomerase. Where is the telomerase in your body? Inside the cell. The telomere is the tip of the DNA. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you guys questions. The tip of your DNA is called your telomere. The enzyme that will lengthen it is called telomerase. Okay? You can turn on telomerase and turn off the mTOR pathway by doing what? Should we start over? You can turn on the telomerase, lengthen your DNA, and turn off mTOR by fixing 3 things. What's the number 1 toxin? Sugar. Why do we have a leaky gut? Why are the cells bad? They've been duplicating at the wrong rate. And then the fat goes in the cell to plug the holes. Good job. Okay? What is the most important test you should get for your health? So remember we started off and we were looking at medical tests and everything else. She's looking down at her sheet. I don't know your name. I'm so sorry. What's your name? Melinda. Melinda was like, well, let's run every test under the planet. What's the most important test you can run? There's 3 of them technically. We need, that's one to see our, and that's the urine, functional urine, right? Should we get an x-ray of our spine maybe? Should we get a scale test to see if we have a leaky gut? So the most important test is your health evaluation done by testing your gut, testing your toxicities, blood work, urine work, testing your spine. How much does that cost? What's the retail cost? What do I have to pay for you guys to get everything tested? What do I ask you to reimburse? Which covers what? second and third visits, so I'm paying in full for your first one. And then if you do something with me, what will I do? I think you guys did well today. Did you have a good time? Yes. How many of you are like, my mind still hurts, like it's numb, like it literally hurts, like it just hurts? I get that, okay? If you want me to help you for it to not hurt, definitely get an appointment. Who would like to come to dinner with me next month on the 12th? 3 or 4 of you. Great. Fill out the form. Invite a friend. If you're like, well, I don't know what that means, we're going to just talk more about this, but I'm going to go a little deeper into some specific things, okay? Dinner is free. I'll buy your food, okay? The restaurant holds 50, so I suggest you fill it out today, because if even all of you said it, I'll have to get 2 restaurants. Who would like to come to the let's figure out how to control our sugars and make ourselves less sweet one next month? Okay, I'm going to promise you something. It is going to sell out within weeks when I start the announcements. Nobody knows about it yet. Please check that box at the bottom. Hand that in as you leave, and you guys get VIP front seat access to that one. It'll say live event, I think, or seminar. So you have dinner, webinar, seminar. Dinner's the dinner. Seminar's the seminar. Webinars would be if you want me to email you about our Lunch and Learn lives and the webcasts and stuff like that. Just fill them out. Hand them in as you guys leave. I'm going to run out of here. So again, if you have a question, chat with my team. That's what the appointments are for. Thanks for coming, guys. I hope you had a good time.